Takes a while. We're live. Okay. If anyone can hear me out there, it's supposed to be live. Let me know in the chat if you can. But the delay is always lovely. But thank you for being here on Movie Crap Live. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm a little early, but I thought, let's just do this. You know what I mean? How is everyone? I hope I didn't surprise everyone. It's only... Oh, there's Austin. There's Austin. There's Cornbread. No ads yet, I guess. No ads yet. We'll see. We'll see. But... How did I do that last time? Now I'm wondering. Anyway. I'm like, oh yeah, that thing. Okay. Anyway. Hello. Oh, Izzy's here. Hello. Thank you, Izzy. Thank you for being here. Hello, Purple Goop. Hello, Cornbread again. Hello, Major Makazawa. Hello, Nathaniel Folk. Hello, Slime. That's a cool name. Thank you all for being here. It's been a minute. Sorry for all the sickness and everything like that has kept me... Cornbread got 2 ads. See, you shouldn't have said that. YouTube was like, oh, you're getting some ads, motherfucker. Yeah, let me just... Hey, Twisted Razor, what's up? Let me just actually show my fucking face. Tyler. I love you too, Izzy. Hello, TuneJ723. Alright, let's just do the fade. Hello. Yes, I'm in the kitchen still. And how are you doing? I hope you enjoyed the pumpkin. Designed by my beautiful daughter, Sophie. I thought she did a good job. It's a cool pumpkin. It's a cool pumpkin right there. Oh, there's K-Masters there. Hello. Is this the third one? I wish there was more, but oh well. But yeah, that is Sophie's Design the Pumpkin. Me and Izzy are there with Tom Servo. Everything's cool. It looks, well, I guess that's just, it looks blurrier on YouTube than on my thing, but hopefully it corrected itself. What is my, okay, Buster. Okay, and I have a sound blanket, so it sounds a little better in here. I was like, need to correct that. So, which I can't really show you. Can I show you? Maybe I'll spin it around. My amazing sound blanket purchase. Can I do this? Whoa, you're seeing the whole kitchen and the mic. I have this sound blanket here that I bought for sound. It is not set up in the greatest way. So if you're sitting here and you're like, Jim, you could do that like better. I really probably should not have done that. Okay. Anyway, that is a purchase I made because, yes, that is a coffee machine. We have a nice coffee machine because you need to have one. Thank you, Izzy. That's, yeah, but yeah, I got a sound blanket because the TV comes in and I wanted it to sound better. I'm trying to figure out a better, oh, thank you. I mean, I didn't, it just came, it's just at the apartment. But thank you. I enjoy it. Or stove. I enjoy it. It needs to be clean, but I enjoy it. Is that my responsibility? Should I do it? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay. So imagine if I cooked up a meal. Me cooking a meal is just me listening to usually Parliament or Funkadelic, but usually Parliament. They're different groups. And I did those earlier, so they might be dry, but if you're wondering, I just showed off everything. But yeah, it's me listening to Parliament, usually cooking, getting in the zone. I don't think I'm an interesting person to watch cook. And I usually have a lot of, a moment where I think I messed everything up. And I usually don't. Yes, a lot has gone on. I guess we'll just do sort of a mini update, then we'll get into it. But before, and I know I'm not doing the Super Chat plug right now, but I want to show off the energy drink I got today. We haven't had one, but I'm really proud of it, so I'm breaking tradition. Is this it because you're like, it is October 2022, obviously the news stories, but I wanted a drink that screamed that. Nothing screamed that like a Black Adam energy drink. I don't know if Zoa is owned by The Rock or not, but he has, this is true, a thing on there. It says, my fellow everyday warriors, which obviously is me. Zoa is about healthy, positive energy that helps us all focus, be productive, and get stronger together. Mana, gratitude, Zoa. Now, it's very autography this here, so I'm going to assume that's Dwayne Johnson. I don't know if he owns this or not, but I know it has Black Adam on it, and when I saw this, I was like, this is what I have to get. This is what I have to get for the energy drink. But I will not drink it till I get a super chat. But yes, I will be tasting the lightning, I guess. It's tropical punch, natural caffeine. I have no clue what that means. But I was like, this is the time for Black Adam energy drinks. If they're still around next time I do movie crap, which who knows when that is, I will get the other one if this isn't horrible. Anyway, it's 15 calories for one can. Wow. Okay, sounds like I'm being healthy. All right. Yes. So I had COVID. That was not fun. I. It's. Yeah. That messed me up for a whole week. So nothing really got done video wise. Then my kids got COVID, and I've had some weird like post health things. Like one day I had a really bad stomach ache out of nowhere, and then I've had this cough which I didn't have while I had COVID, which makes no sense. So it's no joke. I mean, I always wear a mask, but we're gonna open the can. Buster's just below me. I think that might have popped the mic there. Okay. Cheers to you, Austin. It says, thank you for being on Callback Bites. I was going to call that out. I was on Austin's show, Callback Bites. I'll be posting it everywhere, but you should check it out if you haven't already. He did a good job. It's cool. Right here. Cheers to you. Sorry. This thing made me laugh. Oh, this is actually good. Man. I actually like this. Fuck. Damn it. How is this better than the movie Black Adam? I mean, that's not that hard. Let's all be honest. Natbox64 says, judging by the pic, I didn't know that Bruce Willis is now running as CEO of Disney. I don't know if that's... I think Bruce Willis looks better than Bob Chapek, but I like that joke either way. Cheers to you, Natbox64. Okay, Cornbread said, wow, El Mayo, I saw him promoting that back in June while trying to watch another presentation. Oh, he just talked about Som Jim for 5 minutes and then he left. That's true. But yeah, it messed me up. And I kept having like other things this past week and I have been trying to sleep. So anyway, I'm sort of getting back to it, but I can announce a couple things. One, all the animation for the next Film Art video is done. And it's pretty much done, and I think it'll be out next week. I don't know what day, because I keep tinkering with it, in really minute, stupid things that I should stop doing. But I'm very anal about this show, about Film Art Video. Unlike everything else I do, I guess. But I'm very particular, but I think it'll be out next week. I don't think it'll be a similar rollout as the last one, because that was very organized and planned before, and I didn't get sick, which fucked up everything. So what I think will happen is you won't... the third Shrek review will come out later, the week after, but it'll be Clerks 3, which I know you guys have been wanting from me. But if I need to fuck with the Film Art Video more, Clerks 3 will be after, or something like that. The cartoon will come out next week. I don't see... Oh, I'm sorry, Ryan misstated. Hello, Ryan. How's it going? I do see it coming out. I do see some things getting delayed, but we'll see. But it is like pretty much done. I don't know about the song when that's coming out, like the separate song. I have the song ready for the thing. I still want to make, do more with that song. So that, I don't know. Things have gotten fucked up basically because of the week and because I've needed a little time to rest and things like that. So that's, yeah. Izzy, I pretty much agree with you. But yes. I mean, it's not too perfectionism. It's just like things I want to mess with, and then they take a little while to render, and then I do this thing, and then so it's more like just getting it all done, and it has a lot of moving parts, those cartoons. So yeah. But I think, sorry, Spencer. I think, yeah, there'll be big stuff coming next week. I don't know if I'll do one of these next week because I like to do one the week of a new cartoon, just because of health and I'm catching up on stuff. So don't expect it. I think there'll be one November 17th, definitely, but we'll see about that. I don't want to guarantee anything. The next time one comes out, it'll be more organized. It's just COVID mess. Like, really was not fun. The other thing is, obviously, I have those short scenery videos. If you've seen them, it kind of got a little confused because I know everyone's doing shorts. I sort of wanted to do my own weird thing. I didn't want to just do... I might do more like typical shorts things later. I have some ideas, but this was just using the footage from the month videos. And at first, I edited them one way, and then I think the next morning I went, I don't like any of this. And I re-edited the one that's up that's March 2022, I believe. And then I re-edited the COVID thing. So the COVID Hotel, which was the second one, the March 2022 one, there's one edit on YouTube. There's another edit that's on TikTok and Instagram. But since the COVID thing hadn't come out yet, the COVID different edit, which is longer, is on the Patreon post. So if you're a patron, you can check out a different cut of that. There won't be several different edits of these things. It was just me figuring it out. And that is done, and I sort of know, I think, how to do them. And I'm proud of them, and it's doing really well on Instagram, actually. The first one has like 4,000 views, so that's amazing. I didn't expect that. And it's on TikTok. TikTok's doing okay. But yeah, it's the COVID Hotel's on YouTube, and I just posted it on Instagram, so you should follow me on Instagram and check that out. I think that's all the update things. Personal life and all that stuff. I'm just trying and they don't distract from other stuff. They're really quick. It just took me a minute to figure out, but I like it. I'm proud of them because they are sort of just my own thing, my own footage. And I used to make those things for when I had the public access show similar to them, so it's sort of a natural thing. And I missed making those little things for the public access show when I had one, which is another Patreon exclusive. It was not really a plug. It was just a thing that that's sort of where these came from. So, and I have a ton of footage that I have nowhere to go, so it might work out for this. So we'll see, but that's what's going on with that. I hope you don't totally hate them or something like that, but they do not take as long to edit as a review or make a cartoon. It's much shorter. I do have a TikTok. I was going to talk about it in a second. I think that's everything to talk about. We have this pumpkin. Kids are doing good. Excited to go trick-or-treating. Yeah, let's get into it. My cough is doing a little better. Okay, so, whoa, why are we so far down the script? All right, so, also, let's do a formal thing. Austin's Callback Bites. Check out that channel. If Austin wants to post a thing in the chat, he should. I will be pushing it everywhere. Callback Bites is a mini podcast, so it's like if you just want a podcast that's one question and it's like just a couple minutes, he's great at it. You find out what my favorite animated character is, and I go into that, and I seriously recommend at least mine, and he's been doing great work. So check out those, and if you want to watch mine and learn about that, check his out. And Austin, please post in there. I posted on the Discord as well in the announcements. Okay, let's fully get into it now. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans. It's either through Patreon, where I have all sorts of exclusive things, including postcards, which I definitely am going to mail out next week. I'm sorry that's gotten so messed up because of COVID. I'm not dressing up as anything for Halloween. I'm just a boring dad person. I'm dressed up as the person who has to watch a baby and a thing. I wanted to be me from 2016 and only make, like, from a previous year and only make references, and nobody thought that was funny. Anyway, so this and everything I do is spurred by you, the fans, either through Patreon or Super Chats during the show, and I will drink this actually good rock drink. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yes, I'll drink that and answer your question during the show, as well as Patreon, where you get exclusive content, like what I said, the exclusive cut of the COVID Hotel. You get commentary videos, which I'll put out soon. You get to know what happened with the movie review vote and the totals for that. You get more power in the movie review vote. You get more say and things like that. And it's just a great way to help me grow the channel and help me buy a sound blanket. This sounds a lot better because of you guys. buy a computer because of you guys. So it literally helps the channel grow in a lot of cool ways. So thank you all very much for your support if you're financially able to do so. If not, just liking this post or just watching is totally cool, and thank you for being here in general. If you came here from a sticker or a flyer, hello, say something in the comments. I always want to know if you're there. And yeah, also I have an Instagram where I'm posting all the scenery videos, all sorts of stuff like that. I have a TikTok, and I have an amazing Discord that is run amazingly well by Austin and Zane Powers. It has all sorts of stuff, including licensed playing card chat, where you can find what playing card I have, which now is the Tabasco ones, as well as you can ask me questions, which I get to eventually, but I do answer all the questions. General, it has a great community. They do movie watches. I think they watch a Scooby-Doo movie. I forget the name. I'm sorry about that. And you can see Cornbread's thumbnail predictions. He makes a thumbnail before the thumbnail goes up to predict what it's going to be, and I will check that out after the show. It's a great community. They do an amazing job, and I highly, highly recommend it. It is the Discord I am on the most, which is not a lie at all. It's actually true. I'm on that one the most. It is a great community. Austin Zane Powers has done a very great job, and please check it out. It was Witch's Ghost. I'm sorry, but they do watch-alongs every Friday, which is really cool. And it's the best way to know about everything I do, and it's a great, if you like the chat, or you're like, hey, Alex, how's it going? You like the chat during the show, and you're like, I can never be here and see the chat. That sucks. They're all on the Discord. So go there, hang out, chill, be merry, all that shit. Is that all the things? I think so. Okay. Let's start this off on a bang. Hey, Zodberg, how's it going? All right. So Bob Chapek. Sorry. I do want that, but that's for the super chats. Okay. Bob Chapek made, I'm not sure where he was, and I probably should know that, but he made a comment about how parents don't want to watch animated stuff. Animated stuff is not for the grown-ups. It is for kids, and kids don't want to watch. Grown-ups want to watch the, grown-ups don't want to watch animated. I don't know why this is funny. Grown-ups don't want to watch animated content. They want to watch Pinocchio. I think he said Dumbo, Little Mermaid. I forget the other one. They want to show their kids that, put them to bed and watch something else. Now, this is not too surprising because Disney, other than some stuff on Hulu, Disney Plus is not very pro animation for adults. Maybe some of the HBO stuff that gets distributed to Disney Plus or Star in other countries, but not in America, and not directly do they have much to do with that. So in a sense, it's not too surprising because they virtually have nothing to do with that shit whatsoever. It is disappointing because Disney, in terms of everyone's like, well, Walt never believed in that. I mean, okay, here's the thing. He didn't, but he did virtually nothing to change that. I did that video a long time ago. Did Disney hold back the animated feature? And I highly think they ultimately don't fully believe in animation beyond the kind of shit they make. They have no interest in it. I mean, we look at what the rules, what happened, look at what happened with Henry Selick with the revelations about him and Lasseter, and he's trying to do a different thing, and they're not supporting it. You know, the only reason Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare Before Christmas happened was because of Tim Burton, and Katzenberg actually believed in stop motion for a little bit. Nobody talked about how Katzenberg actually did for a little bit want to expand animation, not just be traditional and stuff like that, but that's a whole other thing. And Katzenberg in general is a shitty person. But it's interesting to me that they're so against changing much of it. And I'm also, I think at first I was like, he should, my first tweet was more like, that's champion animation. Animation isn't a genre, which I don't think he said, but everyone brought that up. And I mean, it's not, but it's a medium. But it's a medium within film, not a genre. But at the same time, I'm sort of sick of doing this whole thing and being like, well, animation is this, and it means this, and it's important. And part of me is like, yeah, but like, am I ever going to change these people's minds? Because, like, you look at, like, I see Rick and Morty shirts for adults, like, every pretty much every day. I see Rick and Morty something. Uh, you know, I see people watching and involving in animation of all age groups, and it's like these people who have this like really reductive view on it. I'm sort of like, y'all are never gonna change, and I'm never gonna convince you. And at this point, like, I don't really give a shit about your opinions on animation because they're like not really worthwhile or worth it or interesting or nuanced or come from any sense of intelligence. So it's just like, what value does hearing these things have? It's disappointing because it's Chapek who, I think that was a major miscalculation on his part because animation's in such a flux at this point. He probably could have a lot of Adult Swim people if he wanted, if he just did stuff like that, because HBO Max is falling apart, Netflix is falling apart. There's a lot of land grabs that could be had right now, and it's interesting he's chosen not to do that, but it's also like they're not good at breaking new animation at this point. You know, look at like what's the Strange World press tour has been widely criticized for a long time, and rightfully so. It's not great. So it seems to me is like everyone, and I've said this, I've always get asked, and when I used to do cons, when do you think Disney would do a more grown-up thing? And I'm like, they have had so many chances, and they just like fucking refuse. And I think if like a Feige was in charge of Disney Animation, because he's good at diversifying, much he is much more than the other people. I just think it'll never really change, and Chapek just kind of towed the line more. I think Iger was better at. Iger's not a great person. He did a lot of fucked up shit that, like, I think that sometimes he let Chapek take the fall for, which is like Iger was smarter than Chapek because Chapek, sorry, I dropped something. Chapek is never like, I think it was Iger who sort of set the precedent of the Scarlett Johansson deal, but Chapek took the shit for it. But that's anyway. No, Katzenberg still sucks, by the way. I'm just saying what he did there, especially the beginning of DreamWorks, is very interesting. But I'm not saying he doesn't suck. I'm just saying that's still interesting, you know. But fuck, I lost my train of thought there. Oh, but Iger, I remember when I was doing the Song of South video, like he wouldn't just ban it until he watched the movie, and I was like, oh, that's interesting, actually. Like that he was like, no, I want to see it. I want to know what it is. Like, is it that bad? I want to know. Like, let's do a screening. And he took a while to screen it, I will say, but he did actually did it because yeah, no, we're not actually releasing this. And I'd heard for a long time like he would actually like before he said, oh, get this out of here or something like that, he would go, well, let's at least understand it, and then he'd usually reject it. Whereas Chapek's just like, yeah, people aren't into that. I'm not gonna try. And so, you know, Disney's still gonna be what it is. That basically like nothing changed and all that. But it's disappointing to hear what happened with Henry Selick and hearing like that's just sort of how Disney is. They're not really support unless it's Tim Burton. They're not supportive of stop motion, and they never will be. And just like fuck it, you know what I mean? That's kind of it's like at first I was really spirited with it, and I'm like, yeah, but this is how Disney is. This is how they are. It sucks. I'm sorry, but this is what it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, basically, this is a drama of executives, not artists. Good point, Sodberg. All right, the next thing, and it's barely a story, but it's worth noting. I forget who really tweeted it, but there was an ad that came out that Hazbin Hotel is coming in 2023. I believe summer 2023 from A24. The thing about that is we don't know where it's going to be. I think A24 has had deals with, I believe it was Amazon. No, it was Apple. I can't imagine Hazbin Hotel being on Apple Plus. I would think you'd want it on HBO Max, but I don't know. So no one's sure where this is going to be, but it is going to be out in summer 2023, which is interesting. I was a little confused why you wouldn't announce where, unless they're just going to let her post it on YouTube. So I'm curious about that. So, yeah. I did see Cornbread brings up the Oh, it was Vivian who posted. Okay, and the official has. Yeah, but like they should have posted where it was going to be. I just thought that was a little weird. So, I guess so they can have. We're coming in 2023, and we all talk about that. Wait a few weeks and they go, and it's going to be on Netflix or wherever, and then we talk about that again. So maybe it's a publicity thing. Maybe, or maybe I don't know. But you wouldn't know a release date unless you knew what the service was, right? That's what I think. Cornbird brings up what Tim Burton's recent statement on the creation of Dumbo, burnt all his bridges with Disney and said he wouldn't work with them again. Yeah, I don't think I mean, it seemed like he was kind of sick of them at that point. It's interesting because his Dumbo is very cynical about Disney. But yeah, that is interesting, especially because they gave him so much leeway when he was at that studio that he's just like, yeah, I don't want to deal with you guys anymore. It's like, I mean, look at like they would always like kind of let his big auteur things with their IP go. So that is interesting that they annoyed him enough that he didn't want to deal with them anymore. It's interesting. Okay, so James Gunn and the DC stuff. This is a lot here, but it is pretty big and probably the greatest. I don't like David Zaslav. I don't like what he's. Sorry, I don't like what he's doing with HBO Max. I will talk about the Cartoon Network thing later, but this is maybe the only move he's made that I liked, which was putting James Gunn and other guy. What's the other guy? Peter Safran in charge of DC, which is now DC Studios, which is movies and TV. Peter Safran, James Gunn, I think you know who he is. I don't need to tell you, but Peter Safran helped with the kind of Conjuring universe. So he's worked on a cinematic universe, which is under WB. He's also produced 2 DC movies, which would be Shazam and Aquaman. He works very well with directors, and he, both, with Shazam and Aquaman, and those directors like him. So there's already people in the DC fold who are making DC movies who like him. But the deal with this is basically, it's sort of like Marvel at the beginning, where you had Feige would be creative and Perlmutter would be financial. But this sounds like 2 guys who would work a little better together. No one's sure what this really means, and what was going on in DC before was an insane power grab, where you had basically you have like 3 camps fighting who actually have active projects, and then you have like J.J. Abrams who might be doing something, maybe, I don't know, he hasn't really committed, which is very J.J. Abrams. But he basically had you have the Rock doing, or Dwayne Johnson, who's pictured right here. I'm gonna have some. I don't care. It's natural caffeine, man. I know you could do that, Rock. All right. He basically, the whole Superman thing, as Walter Hamada was leaving, The Rock basically did all that himself and was like insisted on it, and he put that together. And so he's got his own thing going on with Black Adam. You're basically one of the biggest movie stars in the world controlling their own superhero franchise, which is fairly unique. Then you have Matt Reeves, and he's working on the Batman 2. And he's doing villain spinoffs and HBO Max content, and Batman 2 is apparently going to come out in 2025. Apparently, what did come out during this is Joker 2 is just going to be a Warner Brothers thing. It's separate from the whole DC thing, so that is not in this conversation. And then I'd heard before that James Gunn was working on secret projects, and no one was sure what it was, and then this came out. I think you're going to have people under, and James Wan has Aquaman, that's his thing. The guy, I think it's David F. Sandberg, who does Shazam, he has his thing. And then Patty Jenkins. You have all these people doing their own things under them. Seems like these guys would be able to handle it, especially because they're both people who launched their own franchises for things that people are like, will that be big? And Peter Safran did that with Annabelle, and was it The Nun and The Conjuring, and were able to spin off things, and James Gunn obviously did it with Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm a little surprised because Suicide Squad his Suicide Squad, I mean, it was better than the first one, but it didn't do well. So I was a little confused about that. As well as in their announcement for it, one of the characters they listed along with Superman, Batman, Aquaman was Harley Quinn, which makes me think they are going to do something with Harley Quinn. It's also interesting since James Gunn is in the Harley Quinn animated show. I'm wondering how long they knew this was going to happen. We're all very positive, and meanwhile, the Black. Yeah, that's true. I don't think Black. I think The Rock runs that show, from my understanding. And then you have everything with Henry Cavill, because he's all enthusiastic about Superman, and he had an Instagram post and like all this stuff, and he's worked out a new deal. And then we find out he's not doing another season of The Witcher. That might be more. I don't know if. No one's sure how soon Superman's happening. I think Zaslav apparently, and most of the Warner's executives are a little annoyed that, like, how do you not have $1 billion Superman movie in this climate? Which is like, yeah. That is actually a very good point. So I'm not sure if it was like The Witcher was like, well, you have to sign a multi-season deal. It's like, well, I'm going to do Superman a year from now, so no. Or what happened there. That might not be what we're reading into, but because of the way the news narrative is going, I totally get that why people are like, Superman is back, basically. So we don't know what's going on with Superman. Same with Ta-Nehisi Coates' script, which is supposed to be delivered to Warner Brothers in a month, which when he was writing it was a different Warner Brothers, so I don't know if that's happening. There's rumors that Abrams, and this is not a new rumor, and that they want to make good on this huge deal, that they want him to do Superman. We'll see, but we know Henry Cavill is developing something with Superman. I don't know what's going on. And there's all the movies they've already done that are coming out. And James Gunn probably won't really be available until Guardians of the Galaxy 3 comes out in May. So, which Kevin Feige kept reminding people of. So I'm very curious what is going to happen with this. They only have a 4-year deal, so we might not even see anything from this. That's not like Shazam 2 doesn't count. You know what I mean? Aquaman 2 doesn't count. These are things that are developed before. So I'm really curious how this is going to go. But one thing that should be brought up is we're all very positive on this. We're all very happy. I think I've mentioned everybody who's involved in this whole thing, possibly. The only thing is most executives who I've seen and most film reporters are like, maybe this isn't the greatest deal. They mentioned the 4-year thing. They're like, is this a great deal, or is it Zaslav trying to at least, he found a Hail Mary pass? Like, there's been questions of, did he pitch this to them, or did they pitch this to him, and he's getting to look good for once in a while? It was interesting to also find that Kevin Feige was asked for this position. Obviously, he's not going to do it because he has, executive-wise, he has one of the best deals in Hollywood, so I don't know how much HBO Max thought they could pay him, but it wasn't enough. And it's also interesting to note that James Gunn was moving up in the Marvel thing before his cancellation thing happened, and there was rumors he was going to be the next big like Avengers director, and it seemed like Feige really liked him. I'm curious the future of this, but the fact that all these executives were like, this might have been just like him kind of saving face. It might not be what it is. It also, James Gunn was offered Superman when he went to DC originally and did Suicide Squad. So, and he can still direct stuff, but it has to be exclusively for Warner Brothers and DC at this point, or at least within the next 4 years. So we'll see what this is going to be, and it's really curious. What's going on at DC is interesting, and so many people are fighting for little pockets of it, and there was a couple weeks at the end of Walter Hamada's reign that people are just like grabbing shit like crazy. Like the Rock Superman thing happened because Walter Hamada was leaving. That's all The Rock made that happen. So from my understanding, like he was the one like, I want him back, I want him to be Superman. And the fact that they played the Richard Donner theme, and that Henry Cavill's talking about more positive Superman, which I think is good, because Superman is a character little kids should be into, and I can't show my kids Man of Steel. I've thought about the Christopher Reeve Superman 2 and Superman the movie, but like Marvel is good at making a movie that like we all watch No Way Home as a family, and that's $1 billion movie, and DC has not been good about that. And I think like especially with someone like Superman, who's the most mainstream superhero character in the world, or used to be, that should be, I agree, like, make it for kids. Like, you got your Dark Superman, shut the fuck up. Like, I'm sick of this whole, like, everything needs to be dark and edgy. It's a thing for kids. Like, just, like, you got your one. As much fun as it was being in a New York theater and having people cry because of watching, like, 9/11-esque scenes, was just, like, no. Just, it's fucking Superman. Just chill the fuck out. Like, just, Batman can do that. Superman, not so much. You got your couple weird ones there. Let's just, like, do Fleischer Superman. It's just whatever. Just IHOP and Sears. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what's gonna happen, but I personally am hopeful. I think this is probably the best outcome. Every other executive they had asked who could possibly do this job kept saying no. So it was kind of like a major problem. So, you know, I know DC itself hasn't been dark and edgy, and they are lightening it up, but it's just like every time you read anything about Superman, the complaint this week has been like, but what about Man of Steel 2? And yes, they should have made Man of Steel 2 in 2015. I'm not disagreeing with that, but parents want Superman. Want to turn on Superman for their kids and put them to bed. Adults want something for them. Thank you, 2J723. That was amazing. Yes, they did. I did actually. I was in a theater and people were like crying, and it was like, I don't know like what these people's experience with 9/11 was, but it was like pretty clear like that was what people were not happy. You're watching All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm curious about that. How can you do that with the original movie? Anyway, the other DC thing, and then no more DC stuff. That was major news, so excuse me for pontificating. Is the Green Lantern show, which was going to have multiple Green Lanterns, has been scaled back tremendously. Apparently, budget-wise, this was a fucking mess, and it would have been the most expensive show ever. And so it's going to mainly be Jon Stewart, who I believe is going to be black, but I think we'll see what's going to happen there. But it has been majorly scaled back and is being refigured out. So, yeah, basically. All right. What? Okay. So no, let's do Sonic Prime. I saw the Sonic Prime trailer. Sonic Prime comes up on Netflix on December 15th. I think this is a great, Sophie and I used to read the IDW comics, and it seems to be, she looks at them, but I think it was like a phase, unfortunately. But she read the IDW comics, and this kind of reminds me of the IDW comics. It looks like a lot of fun. Sonic goes into a different dimension. Kids are all into that. It just looks like a good Sonic cartoon. I'm excited to watch that with Sophie and stuff like that. So it looks good. There's not much else. I like the dimension hopping thing. It looks like the dimensions are different things from the games and stuff. I'm sure you guys have more to say about that, but I think it looks cool. Okay, the other big news, they bunny roboted Amy. Is that who? I don't know the girl. I think one of them was Cream, or is that not Cream? I don't know the characters very well beyond Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails. I'm sorry, everyone. But or maybe the Archie ones. I only know IDW that much. But anyway, I will actually end up watching it because I know Sophie wants to watch it. So Doctor Who, is coming to Disney Plus. It was announced after the whole thing with the I think it was Sunday, right, where we found the Rasputin dance thing, and that was very funny. And I didn't watch that episode. I've been very off of Doctor Who. I never gelled with the new Doctor, and then I just fell off. And my friend Russ, who's seen literally everything with Doctor Who, was like, "You're not really missing much." So I felt bad. And but now it seems that it's coming to Disney Plus with a new Doctor. And internationally, it'll be on Disney. Everywhere else, it will be on BBC. And apparently, a lot of this was because they needed to find a partner with more money, because they felt special effects wise they needed to compete with everything else that's out there. And even though the special effects Doctor is a lot better than the 70s, it seems interesting that this is going to happen. I think with Disney Plus it works because Disney Plus is effective in being I called it an IP hub a couple times on Twitter, and I think the the reason it is because it's very good with those little tiles. You know what's out on Disney Plus. They're very good at organizing it. Like, okay, She-Hulk and Andor are on, and Andor's on now, and then they'll probably have something else after that. And they like kind of keep you perpetually like having content forever, and you know it's going to come on this day, and it's very organized and stuff like that. And that will work for Doctor Who, because if I'm like, oh, okay, between the Marvel show, there's a Doctor Who episode, and like, I feel like the appointment to watch some of these things is very well organized, and I think that will work out for Doctor Who, because it seemed like I wasn't the only one who kind of fell off of it, and it was very popular in the early 2010s, and then it fell off, and I think this will bring it back in a major way. I hope it does. And it works well because Disney Plus has Marvel and Star Wars, and Doctor Who will do well. Sorry, my hair was okay. Sorry. I think it'll work well. So I'm excited for it. I think it doesn't really start for a while, and there's specials and things like that, but I think it's a good, smart move for Doctor Who. For everywhere that's not, I guess, the UK and Ireland, I think. But we'll see. Yeah. But Andor, I like Andor, but I think the thing with Andor is they didn't advertise it as a 12 episode show. People kept pushing it like just any other Star Wars show, and they should have been like, okay, well, it's longer. It seemed like most people who make content about Star Wars were a little frustrated that the audience wasn't there for it, but it is a really good show. I really like it, although I don't know when the next season is, because I think they're filming most of next year, so I don't think we'll get the second season until 2024, from my understanding. And I think a lot of these big shows like that one, Lord of the Rings, and the House of the Dragons, I think it's going to be a while. So, yeah. But, I don't know. Andor, it grows on you. I really like it. Like, even if you don't, it's like, really like Star Wars made by people who don't like Star Wars, which is amazing. So, I think this is the biggest news for me, which movie news for me, which was that John Waters is returning to directing with Liarmouth. Well, the Rock's just looking at me. He's like waiting. John Waters is returning with Liarmouth, which is a book he wrote, and he's returning to directing for the first time in 18 years. This is even though I like Star Wars, people say this is their Star Wars. This is definitely one of my most anticipated things. I'm unbelievably excited and so ready for him to come back. I am probably going to read Liarmouth, and I'll try to read it before the movie comes out. But wow, this is amazing news. I kept thinking, like, every month I go like, why doesn't Netflix or somebody just like, that doesn't cost that much to make a John Waters movie? Like, they could just, come on, they could just do it. Like, why hasn't that happened? Like, and I'd always heard he didn't want to, and all this stuff, and I was always like, okay, he doesn't want to. And anytime I knew someone who even like ran up to him and would bring it up, he was like, I just don't, I'm not into it. And I was like, all right, I guess it's over. I guess we'll go out on a dirty shame. I guess I'm not super thrilled about that, but yeah, hello Tune, two-headed film fanatic. But got them. Haha. You mean that guy who was sitting next to Alvin? Yes, Theodore. Will star in it, I believe. Thank you for the super chat, Nathaniel Fogo. Okay, I'm gonna. This is the first one of these random ones I liked. Didn't expect it to be Black Adam. Maybe it's like when I watched Black Adam and I felt okay with it while I watched it, and then later I was like, that was not good. But anyway, it is based on his book Liarmouth, which I'm excited about that. Oh, hello, Knuckle Dude. How are you doing? Welcome to Movie Crap Live. What is this? Anyway, let me look up. He says a feel bad romance. He says the craziest thing he's written. He's 76. Geez. Okay, the novel follows 3 generations of women in the same family. Adora, who runs an unauthorized veterinarian practice in the Upper East Side of Manhattan that specializes in plastic surgery for pets. Oh, this sounds like it's not going to film in Baltimore. Adora's daughter, Marcia, a pathological thief and misanthrope, who's the liar-mouth of the title, and Marcia's daughter, Poppy, who runs a trampoline park on the outskirts of Baltimore. Eventually, they all conspire to kill each other. That sounds amazing. Okay, it is his debut novel. Most of his stuff is essays and, like, you know, nonfiction stuff. So, I think this will be. I'm excited. This sounds cool. That sounds like a cool premise. I'm curious who the 3 women will be. I'm curious where this is going to go. Will it be in theaters? If there's a premiere, will I try to go? I've already discussed when I find a release date, I will travel to Baltimore and watch it at the Senator Theater. If it's not playing, it better be fucking playing at the fucking Senator Theater. I'm telling you that right now. I mean, I'll settle for the Charles because Cecily Demented, despite the premiere being at the Senator, and usually they play anything, they did not play Cecily Demented at the Senator. Or if they did, it was like a night or something. I saw Cecily Demented at the Charles. So, you know, if you really want to get into Baltimore theater stuff, but I will fucking travel for Liarmouth. So this better be good. So, you know, but I'm excited. It's really, really, seriously, one of the best movie news. I'm so shocked it's happening. And it sounds really cool. So, you know, I'm glad he is, feels creatively able to do this. I don't know if we'll get more than this out of him because he's getting up there and stuff like that. But, you know, as long as Mink Skull and Pat Moran are involved, I think we'll be okay. All right. So the Cartoon Network news. First, I want to say I feel like I took the position that no one would. I was sick with COVID, which I almost put under it. Like, guys, I'm really sick. Can you just be nice to me? So here's the thing. I read what Amid from Cartoon Brew said, and I have never really liked him. I've probably never liked him longer than a lot of you. But the more I read reports, there is no way to spin those reports as any way other than this is fucked, basically. Now, I know people have said, well, I still work there and we're still working on things. That may be so. It probably is. But here's how I look at it. A Cartoon Network is basically being folded into these other things who are more known for IP, which Zaslav has already said he's going to do. These are things we know. This is not conspiratorial. We know he's going to do that. We know those departments do that. If it's folded into those things, we know he wants to just consolidate this company. He doesn't give a shit about anything else. So it sounds to me like that's what he's going to do. There's no signs that point to anything else at this point. To me, it sounds like they are over. That person saying that, and I'm sure people still work there. That's definitely true. But it's like, if someone told you they work for MTV now, would you go like, oh man, what's Carson Daly like? You'd be like, oh, what do you do? Like, what do you do there? What's that like? You know, it's not the MTV of the 90s or the 2000s and stuff like that. And that's what I think Cartoon Network is. Also, cable is fucking dead, guys. Like, it's fucked at this point. Like, that channel is not coming back to the 90s. The thing that stinks is what is going to happen with Cartoon Network and that stuff on HBO Max. I know they've been really pushing Bat Wheels, which is I should probably do a short on that whole thing. It's interesting. They're kind of DC's version of the Spidey is Amazing Friends thing. Hello, notification. But it seems like they are more into doing stuff with the DC characters, possibly, you know, other characters they have the rights to. I think that is what is going to happen to CN Studios. I don't think you can make an Adventure Time today. And I think we all know that. So, like, I'm not trying to be the guy who's like, yeah, no, it is. I mean, I am being the guy who's like, it is fucking dead. But I read every report I could on that. Amid, I don't like saying this, was not wrong. He wasn't wrong about what he wrote. He wasn't being, the usual like bootlicker kind of guy he was saying like, if you look at all this stuff, this is probably what's going to happen, and it looks like it's over. And yeah. So I think the people that work there could be things that are too far in development to cancel, even though to be honest, it sounds like Zaslav would probably do that if it's not like that Superman cartoon people are hyped for. Which, by the way, I saw a lot of people say, well, I don't care what happens to the studio as long as we get that Superman cartoon. And I was like, well, to be honest, that's probably the healthy attitude to have, but that's depressing. Like, I would like another regular show Adventure Time from them, but I don't think that could happen for them. I don't know where that's going to happen at this point. So it is bleak. There's no way to take it. Like, when people are like, don't post those CN Studios is dead thing, I'm like, well, I think you should, because unless there is a project that that got through, if that happens, which I want to happen, and most people are posting these things want to happen, then fine, but where is it? We don't have that right now. And all signs point to that isn't happening right now, under the evidence we have. Now, that's the problem with movie news in general, is you report on these things and sometimes development slides can change. They change your mind about a thing, and it was true that 1 week, but now it is changed later. So right now, not good. Not good. Not good. That's what it is. I'm sorry to be this way, but it is like there's nothing, and everything Amid wrote in that, from what I have read and what I have observed, is fairly accurate. Everything I've seen since then is fairly accurate. People are going like, well, people can work there, but they didn't say, and we have original stuff. I didn't see that. They're like, you can work on cool stuff. Maybe that Superman show is great, but I'm just saying, you are not getting Adventure Time. You are not getting Ed, Edd and Eddy. That is not happening. Okay? That's just a fact. I'm sorry. Let's move on. I don't want to be the bummer of the stream. I'm going to drink some of this rock thing because I really like it. It has antioxidants and electrolytes and B and C vitamins. 100% DV and Camu. I don't really understand. Anyway, I'm sorry. We'll see what happens. I don't know if you can hear my voice watching Gilmore Girls. It's really hard because I'm a big Gilmore Girls person to not just watch Gilmore Girls. I feel like everybody definitely feel like views just went down. All right. The Santa Clauses trailer came out. This is interesting that it's not a movie, that it's a show, which is weird. I didn't think we would get a show of the Santa Claus. Like, what's going on there? I think that's interesting. But the Santa Claus and its sequels, I know, do very well on Disney Plus. I know most parents have it on a lot, and I think, well, probably, if it's decent enough. I'm curious who the new Santa Claus is. They don't tell you that in this trailer. I'm curious if it's Cal Penn, because he's featured a lot, and what the deal is with that and everything. Maybe we know that, and I didn't read something, but it looks like it could be fun. I think it should just be a movie, but it'll probably do well. I mean, look at Hocus Pocus 2. Wasn't it like the biggest premiere streaming movie ever? So I'm sure this will do really well. But I am still surprised it's not a movie, but I don't know how many episodes, but we'll see. I mean, Tim Allen does do well on TV, you guys. I don't know if you knew that. So I think it might work out, actually. Actually, I'm going to move. Let's do all the Marvel stuff together later, because it's not mostly trailers, but there is a few things. Well, now that I'm down here, I'll just report on this. Now, Andy Merrill is back as Brak for Jellystone, which is amazing. I think that's really, 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 really cool. I'm excited for that. I feel like Jellystone, when it first came out, I heard a lot about it, and we need to know more about it. I would like to know more, and I'm excited for what that's. Sorry, I'm literally script editing right now. I'm excited for that. I think that'll be cool. I need to rewatch. I feel like there's Jellystones I missed out on, but Jellystone is a cool show. I'm surprised they haven't canceled that. Maybe they don't know, but that is a good fucking show. That's a real animation nerd kind of thing. But yeah, maybe Sophie and I need to watch that. I don't know. It's hard. Starting to want to watch her own things. You know what I mean? But yeah, Brak being back is cool. I would love to see Space Ghost in it. I would love to see any Hanna-Barbera. Like, get them all in there. I don't know who else. See, I think I haven't watched past the first season. I feel like more has premiered. I'm sure Ryan's going to say something like, this has happened since then, Jim. But yeah. And Ryan said follow Andy Merrill on Twitter. All right. The Creed 3 trailer came out. This looks very good. And I was worried about Creed 3 because I think its place in the franchise of Creed is interesting because the other two Creed movies are very much in the Rocky. I mean, it's in the Rocky franchise. I know that. But they were owing to calling back to Rocky films. Now, the thing is, Creed, the first one, obviously has to, that worked very well within it. You're introducing it fine. With what Creed was, you have to do the one with Ivan Drago. So obviously Creed 2 had to be that. You either do it then or you do it later. So they got all that out of their system. Now Creed 3 happens, and it's sort of just about Adonis Creed and his past rather than Stallone and things, Rocky and his dad and stuff like that. It's about a guy who went to jail and has his life ruined where Adonis got to be this huge boxer. It's very similar to the plot of Rocky 3, which is interesting. But which I think a lot of people thought they'd probably do, and they like with Clover Lang kind of thing, but they didn't that directly, but it pretty much is. I think it looks really cool. I think it was Jonathan. Hold on. I'm going to make sure I get people's names right, because I am sometimes not the greatest at that when I'm not looking. Jonathan, I was right. Then never mind. With Jonathan Majors, I'm curious with Tessa Thompson's character. Sorry, you can see me going back and forth. Tessa Thompson's character is she's like deaf at this point, I believe, right? I mean, it seemed like that was where I was going. I'm definitely going to rewatch the two Creed movies before, because I know it's like my wife hadn't seen Creed 2. I think a lot of people didn't see Creed 2. I don't think Creed 2 is bad. I just think it's sort of just very average in the Rocky franchise. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. Whereas Creed is like maybe the, up there with the first Rocky. So, but I really like where this is going. I think it's a good step in the right direction for the franchise. It looked well directed, and it's directed by Michael B. Jordan as well, which I think he should do because Stallone, I think 3 was Stallone's first directed one. Was it? No, or he did. I know he did 4. But anyway, it is very much within the. That's what you're supposed to do when you're running these franchises. I'm curious how he's going to direct it. It looked cool. It had some cool shots. I'm excited, basically. But I think it's a step in the right direction. Jonathan Majors looks like he was going to kill it. Okay. So, Sausage Party, a series, is ordered at Amazon. I think this is surprising because why wasn't it a show? I don't. Oh, the Polly Robot. Austin, you're right. Why isn't a movie and a show instead? It's very curious, but it seems like, I guess because Sony and I guess it was MGM or something, and they're probably want to exploit that IP. Is it MGM? Was the original MGM? I actually don't know. That just occurred to me just now. Man, this drink is like hitting me. I have like all this energy now. This is like a good energy drink. Man. This is Sony Pictures. I know Annapurna has deals. Anyway, lots of people who have deals in Amazon are helping get this made. But Sausage Party, I believe it's called Sausage Party. What was it called? Sausage Party. I don't know. Do people still like Foodtopia? People still like Sausage Party? Like, I kind of thought I'd be more hopeful for it when it came out, but it does feel to me like they didn't, you never hear about it. It's so, yeah, but Sony isn't, I don't know, it's weird because Sony didn't sell everything to Amazon, but I guess, I don't know, maybe they were getting along. But yeah, they're doing that. I'm curious what, there we go. Thank you. TuneJ723 cleared this up. Seth Rogen's studio also makes Invincible. Okay, so they just looked at what IP they had. Thank you. That makes sense. The article did not mention that. And The Boys. Wow, Seth Rogen's producing wise doing very well. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if people would be as interested in this. It's like so many years removed from that movie, and I don't think that movie has the biggest cultural stamp at this point. Like in 2016, like it was 2018 maybe, but it's like, what kid is like, oh, Sausage Party, my rite of passage to see this movie? Like I never hear about that. So and one, we'll do Star Wars. Okay, so Star Wars, we heard, I guess it was on Sunday, that Damon Lindelof is basically planning a new Star Wars film that will take place after Rise of Skywalker and could include characters from the sequel franchise. No one's sure who this could be other than not Kylo Ren because he's dead. But that the next Star Wars film would be directed by this director of Ms. Marvel, who's very accomplished. She's done animation, she's done documentary. She directed Ms. Marvel, Shameen Abed Chinoy, I believe, and she directed two of the like later Ms. Marvels. But she's really like, I kept looking at her filmography and really has like some real talent there. So I was like, yeah, I would actually want her to do a star like someone who has done so many different mediums and stuff. I think she'd be really perfect. Also, Ms. Marvel was fairly well directed as well. And David Lindelof, who I didn't like before, but after Watchmen, and I've sort of changed my tune on him. But yeah, apparently he has been developing new stuff. He's doing a writer's room, but it would take place like past Rise of Skywalker. Everyone thinks it's Rey or Poe Dameron. No one really knows. No one knows anything. And the next Star Wars is supposed to be 2025. A lot of people think that this is going to take that slot. No one knows what that 2025 slot is in December. I will say this. And most people assume that was going to be Taika Waititi's, but there's been a lot of word on that is not moving as fast as it could, and they have done this to have their own thing going. We'll see. There's also Kevin Feige's Star Wars thing, which we haven't heard a lot about in a while. So I think we'll see what's going to go down with that. But it sounds interesting. But from what I've heard from a lot of the movie press people have been talking about, is like something will make that date, and it sort of, most people are thinking Lindelof, unless Taika Waititi, pulls out a Star Wars out of nowhere script and like really gets organized in the next month or something. It seems like they are going to take that slot, like Lindelof, and this would take it over. But we'll see. But it seems like they're getting him more involved in like building up the franchise theatrically. As much as everyone goes, oh, they only care about Disney Plus now, this is more in that direction. So yeah. Next, Good Burger 2 is confirmed. But here's the thing. Sinram, you are late, but it's okay. Now that you're here, the show can really start. Good Burger 2 has been confirmed. Here's the thing about Good Burger 2. One, I always thought Keenan and Kel was the main nostalgia thing, not Good Burger. I'm super confused about that part. The other thing is, like, where is this going? I'd assume it's probably going to go to Paramount Plus, because Paramount Plus is really good at nostalgia stuff, and Paramount in general. You look at something like Top Gun even, or Beavis and Butthead, or even the Rugrats reboot, or Camp Coral, to annoy a couple people. No, but the other things have done well, and I think it would probably be the best place. But I don't know, because Keenan's such a Universal guy. Is he working on a deal to go with Peacock, or is he gonna like just doing his 2 years at SNL and then gonna bounce somewhere and get a good deal? We'll see. But yeah, they've confirmed it. But then I'm like, yeah, but like you don't know where it's going. So much like the Hazbin Hotel news, I'm like, I mean, what is this? What is this? What is this doing? What does this mean? I don't know. But I know Keenan is going to stay at SNL definitely until Lauren leaves. He's definitely said that. I don't know. And most people don't think it's going to survive after that. So, okay. So we're going to do a big chunk of Marvel news. And then basically Obits, right? Yes. Okay. There's a lot of it. And one sort of not Marvel thing that I've connected somehow. So first off is Cree Summer, who's mostly known as a voice actress, is going to be in Ironheart. We don't really know as what. And there are consistent rumors that, cheers to me, Sorry, I really like it, and I didn't want to have to wait. Sorry. No offense. Cree Summer has been cast on Ironheart, and Sacha Baron Cohen as well has been cast. People keep saying is cast as Mephisto, who they believe will come out midway through Ironheart. We know Ironheart is going to connect to Black Panther 2, and they're really building that up, and we'll probably hear more about that post Black Panther 2 because more people will be excited for that. But as well as the two trailers we saw this week, which was for the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special and Ant-Man 3. Quartamania, I believe. The Holiday Special looks like a fun kind of special. I was actually going to review Werewolf by Night if I hadn't gotten sick, but that was actually really good, and that werewolf transition with like the shadow and everything, that was pretty epic. I really liked that. The second time I sort of saw what they were doing, but I'm like, you did attempt something really interesting there. But this looks very the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special looks like a lot of fun. They go find Kevin Bacon, they go to Earth, stuff like that. It seemed like he's getting out because I think most people thought, are they going to have Guardians go to Earth, other than, I guess, no, they didn't go to Earth in Endgame, did they? Whatever. Quantumania, whatever. Ant-Man 3, or Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm sorry. But yeah, the Holiday Special looks good. Ant-Man and the Wasp 2, I guess, or Ant-Man 3, whichever. My main thing with this is, I think, much like Doctor Strange 2, it seriously looks like a thing. I agree with you, Robinson Knox. I don't know if I've seen you before, but I agree with you. That was like a Universal Hollywood thing. They did a lot of cool Universal kind of old classic Hollywood stuff in there, as well as being very much a Marvel comic. It was really nice, but that transition was flat out of like old classic Hollywood. That is a good observation, Robinson Knox. Nice to see you here. Everybody went to Earth in Endgame. You are right, Sinram. That is true. They just shot some stuff and went and then got out. Ant-Man, whatever. Yeah, so my issue with this, same issue with Doctor Strange 2, is like Black Panther 2 feels like a franchise movie it used to be Marvel was mini franchises, and now it feels like there's certain other franchises, Doctor Strange and Ant-Man, where they don't have their own story as much as they have the story of the MCU, and it's more about like continuing that. And it's like almost like you couldn't, like the other Marvel things, it felt like you could watch each of the movies, by themselves and not watch the Avengers. And Ant-Man and Doctor Strange feel like they're like, well, these are the biggest movies ever, so we'll connect them, and it's connected to this and stuff. And some of that I don't love. It's weird to me, and I don't know, but it looks like a fun movie. I like Doctor Strange 2 despite that. It's just weird to have these franchises that are more like in service of other things than being its own thing, and I find that a little odd, a little odd, to be honest with you. So it looked really cool. It looked exciting. It looks honestly better than the second one. I'm not a big Ant-Man or Ant-Man and the Wasp franchise guy, but it looked cool. So I will say that, but I just don't really love this whole thing, because it does feel like you're not going to be like, oh man, I can't wait to sit down with Ant-Man. It's like, oh, well, I'm watching Phase 4, so I better watch like Ant-Man 2. And it's like, I get that Marvel's big enough you can get away with that, but I don't like really love it, to be honest with you. Before we get into Marvel rumors, which are pretty big, I want to talk about Open Mike Eagle, who's a cool rapper. I like him. He has a new album out, and he has a good MF Doom song called For Doom. Is it For Doom? I'm going to look this up, but I've been listening to it. I listened to his new album, which I liked. It wasn't like my favorite by him, but I liked it quite a bit. Sorry, I'm just going on my Spotify. It's called For Doom by Open Mike Eagle. If you like MF Doom, I've been meaning to post it on Twitter, and I will at some point. But if not, go check out him in general. He's pretty cool. And he did a few songs with MF Doom, but he explains he never met him and stuff. But it's him talking about MF Doom and his fandom. I think it's actually really good. He has a couple. It's not my favorite album by him. He's done a lot of cool stuff. I would check. I think, what was it? Arcade. Hold on. There's another song I like by. This is quality content right here. Multi-game arcade cabinet is another cool song by him on that album. But yeah, I think most people have seen Open Mike Eagle on various things. Like he was on Adam Ruins Everything. He's been on various podcasts and stuff like that. But he's an interesting rapper, very chill. It's like alternative hip hop, I guess. So this came out from Jeff Snyder on the Hot Mic. I don't think it is like a podcast. I think it's just a stream show like this one. But he revealed 2 Marvel things. One was about Fantastic Four. One was about a thing that we don't know was fully going to happen because it hasn't been developed yet. But he said that Doctor Doom will not be the villain in the first Fantastic Four movie. He doesn't know who the villain will be, but he's heard that they don't want to do Doctor Doom first. I think this is a great move, to be honest with you, because I think Doctor Doom, I think doing that in your first movie, it was kind of like an old school comic book thing. And obviously they did that in 2 other comic book or Fantastic Four movies, and those didn't work out so good. So I think just focusing on the Fantastic Four and having like Mole Man, or I think it should be Mole Man, but whomever, people have said Molecule Man for some reason, but whomever they get, I think it'd be better to let Doom have his own movie, much like what Christopher Nolan did with the Joker. Like he's like, I want to do Batman and then the Joker, which I've always thought was like a really smart franchise move. To be honest with you, like I'm not the biggest Nolan person, but I always thought like that's smart because differentiate, and we always know these movies are going to have multiple things, and why not spread out the arcs and stuff like that. So I think that is a smart move. Again, I will say that this is in development, so they could change their mind on that, but they do believe that Doom will show up in the mid-credits scene of Fantastic Four. The other thing, and I guess this is the last thing before the Obits thing, is that there's apparently assembling a writer's room for a Vision show called Vision Quest, which apparently is based on a comic thing, and he's gonna it'll be more of like the White Vision from West Coast Avengers and stuff like that. I'm curious about this. I don't know. I think some of these characters that they do the Marvel shows on, like She-Hulk was like fun. It had its own identity. Well, when you get into the Hawkeye things, it really just feels like they're like, well, who could have a show or who should have a show and stuff like that. And I don't know. Again, like it just feels like they're just sort of doing it to do it. But it could be interesting to see like his quest and his way to find identity with like these fake magic kids and stuff, and how he's going to handle all that, which should be actually interesting. I'm a little curious about that, but yeah, they should really have more fun with the character. I do feel like Marvel's in this interesting transition phase because they know Fantastic Four is happening, they know X-Men is happening, and it's almost they're like, okay, well, let's get all these characters out, and that way when they hit, we've done all these other characters, so when X-Men and them hit and overpower everything, and they don't get movies and shows, we at least tried, you know what I mean? And got more of these characters to the screen. That's honestly what I think is going on, really. All right. Let's, this is, okay, good. I have kind of longer segments. So let's talk about Obits. Jules Bass, the part of Rankin Bass, died this past week. Jules Bass was, I believe 87. But Rankin died. Arthur Rankin Jr. died in 2014. Yeah, they co-directed The Last Unicorn. They worked on, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, The Hobbit, Santa Claus Coming to Town, a lot of classic stuff, but that was kind of shocking. I didn't know. I mean, yeah, 87. he had a good run, but also like Rankin Bass is such a big part of animation and animation history, and you look at the fact that we still talk about Rankin Bass. I feel like still is trending on stuff like that, as well as the actor Leslie Jordan died this past week. I don't know his work that well, but I know he was funny and had like a great personality, and I'm sad to see him go. Um, as well as, and I think this may be a controversial one, but probably the last of the original rock and roll guys, and it's sort of hard to not acknowledge his part in the beginning of that, despite marrying his 12-year-old cousin, which is second cousin. Anyway, a lot about him is troublesome, but Jerry Lee Lewis died this past week. I think I think, listen to some of his stuff, but he's inherently a problematic person. But I think he's the last of like the Sun Records, Elvis, Johnny Cash, all that stuff. It is sad to see a real legend of music go. I definitely, I don't know, Little Richard, all those guys. Oh man, we lost Little Richard. Shit, how did Jerry Lee Lewis become the last guy? What the fuck? I, whatever. Anyway, like the Henry Kissinger of fucking early rock and roll gets to fucking live. But I would Great Balls of Fire is a good song. Whatever. You can check him out if you want to. He was a weird dude, but and definitely problematic. But he's a part of music history, whether you like it or not. So I think R.I.P. to him. R.I.P. to all of them, mostly to Jules Bass and Leslie Jordan. Cheers. It's like don't read anything about his past marriages. You'll be like, oh, dude, fuck this guy. All right, we are doing okay. When I get back, if you didn't check the Discord or Twitter and stuff like that, I'm going to do 2 segments. One on a Henry Selick short called Slow Bob in the Lower Dimensions, and then a Bluey episode called Dad Baby. I don't really know much about the Rooster Teeth thing. I really haven't been paying attention to that. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, I'm going to talk about, I've never done anything about Bluey but one that's banned, and my theories on that, and I watched the episode, and Slow Bob in the Lower Dimensions, and we'll do questions, and we might get out of here before 12:30, actually. I thought I would pontificate more, but the thing I've noticed about entertainment news in the past year is it's become more about these huge, massive stories, and the little stories are not as much anymore. And I think it's because of streaming and how movie news is so clickable and stuff like that. But it's like, unless you have like a major, like, hey, John Waters is back, oh, DC's having this thing, just like it sucks all the air out of the room. So it's like really hard to I don't know. I sort of don't know if I did this every week. I think it would have to be shorter a lot of weeks. That's what I think. So but either way, I'm gonna take a break. I need to use the bathroom. Thank you, Black Adam. And I'll be right back. I guess I'll play an ad and stuff, and then I'll be right back. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And then we'll do a little bit more. All right. See you in a second. All right, cool. Be right back. Hold on. It'll be a little quiet. I'm just going to turn the mic, mute the mic. I just realized I didn't send the tweet out, so I had it all ready. Well, I just did. Embarrassing. All right. Well, all these people, if people come, just be like, Jim will be right back. All right, cool. This is just the Hello. Sorry about that. Did anyone just show up? Yeah, I did forget to sell it this week. Did anyone hear me? I guess talk about that. Sorry. I really, I don't know. I hope, I'm just a single person, so I think sometimes you forget stuff and you're like, oh damn, that's embarrassing that I totally forgot to do it. But whatever. Trying your best. I think that's the theme of this channel. You know what I mean? That's what I think. Honestly, is I just am trying my best. Was it Dad Baby? Yes, it's Dad Baby. That is the episode. But yes. All right. Do we have? Yeah, mistakes were made. Israel tourism? Is that really? Well, thank you, Austin. That's right. Israel tourism. That's interesting. You don't have to. By the way, Cornbread. I believe it was Cornbread. Said something about the John Waters Cartoon Network thing. As depressing as one of those were, thank you for doing that. That's another good thing about the Discord. Is I do actually ask like, hey, what do you guys want me to talk about? News-wise, and so if you're on the Discord in general, you can ask. So yeah. All right. Let's get into the supposedly banned episode of Bluey called Dad Baby. So I want to bring this up about this one. Is I am very unaware of the episodes that are banned. Ryan brought this up to me. Because we're a big Bluey household. I know I haven't done any videos on Bluey, but it's big. It was mentioned in Abbott Elementary, so that's pretty big. John Waters Cartoon Network. That sounds amazing. Also pop it. But I'd heard there was a band episode, but Ryan sent me a link, which I then posted. Sorry, Ryan. I hope that was okay. I didn't ask you, but I'm sure it is. Well, it doesn't matter. But here's the thing. I watched this episode, and this is about they find a baby carrier. Bandit, the father. If you don't know Bluey, I'm going to explain this because maybe you don't know. Cornbread, stop. You're making me laugh. I'm really digging this. Damn. Look what the Rock has done to me. I definitely smelled what he was cooking with that drink. So Bandit, who's the dad, if you had kids and stuff, you know that there's going to be, you have a baby carrier and babies will fall asleep on your chest and stuff while you're walking around. My daughter would do that a lot. My son's more of a stroller kid, but whatever. But he puts on the baby carrier because the kids find out like, what is this? Because kids don't remember baby time at all. And Bingo, the youngest daughter, gets in there and pretends, and Bandit, the dad, pretends to be pregnant. And they have this whole thing about like he's making fun of Chili, the mom, about when she was pregnant, and she pretends to almost hit him with a magazine, doesn't, and then he eventually jokingly gives birth to Bingo from the baby carrier, and it's like a whole bit. If you know Bluey, they still like to go on little bits and stuff like that. So it's very kind of like the show and stuff. So I've heard about this banned episode with Bluey thing, and I actually did some research on it. And here's the thing about it is like they had an episode that came out recently on Disney Plus called Family Meeting, which is mainly about how the dad farted in Bluey's face. But they call it fluffied. It's fairly innocent. It was not included originally. The thing is with this is there are no statements from Disney. There is no like Disney Plus said they wouldn't do it because of this thing. It is all people going, this was banned. And there's no evidence from Disney that it was banned. Like, the thing is with this is, I think of this as like what happened with Crybaby Lane a decade ago. And all these people send said that they wouldn't play Crybaby Lane again because it was too scary. That was the urban legend. And then I think a Disney executive was like, well, no, we just didn't like it, so we aired it like once. It was like kind of stunk. It didn't do well. We're just like, whatever, which is unusual for cable, so I get it. But it's like someone came up with that backstory and did it, and that's what they've done with both this episode and Family Meeting. And it deals with distribution and stuff are weird. They might have said, we'll take this one for this season, and we'll take these for this, and there's probably some really boring, stupid reason. But if someone has a Disney executive saying, like, we had to really think about the farting one, and then they release it anyway, it to me, it's like not banned. It's just like, I saw a video where they're like, I don't know, Chili folds up a magazine, and then they had to mute what they thought that was, and I was just like, oh my god. I found out about Bluey YouTube from researching this, and that was something that I did not fully need in my life. I'm gonna be honest there. I was like, wow, this is even though I was friends with the Brownies, I was like, this is a little weird to me. But there's also people keep saying, like, if it comes out in America, it's going to be called Kangaroo, which again, not sure where they got that. I don't know where they got that information from. There seems to be a lot of like unsourced stuff on this. So what I think is it'll eventually come on Disney Plus. It just isn't now. It was part of the second season, but seasons and distribution and stuff are weird, and there's second season ones that are put in season 3 and stuff like that. So I don't think it'll be permanently banned. I think they just picked one, but it's not, in my mind, controversial by any means. Maybe, I think I'm going to watch it with my daughter later, and maybe I'll feel differently. But as of right now, I just think this is just sort of a weird distribution hiccup that we've made into a controversy because there is people who cover Bluey, and it would obviously do good numbers if they said there was a banned episode of it. I know there have been changes before. I don't see it. And there's nothing to back up these claims. So, yeah. If you've never seen the show, I recommend it. It's a good, like, all family show and stuff. But if you're not into little kid shows, I totally get why you wouldn't. So, it was a decent episode. Not my favorite episode of Bluey, but I don't really see any reason why you would ban it, in my mind at least. All right, so let's now talk about the other segment. That was a little hard. It was a little harsh. The Shazam powers hit me. Man, I can't believe I didn't send out this week. I did that when I came back before too, so maybe it's a return tradition there. So the next segment is a Henry Selick short film. I had been told it was a short film. When I looked it up, it was a short film, but it is actually something more, and it's called Slow Bob in the Lower Dimensions. This is Henry Selick, so it's obviously very weird. But what is this? It's from 1991, and it was while Henry Selick was making the MTV station IDs. Earlier on this week, I posted a thread of station IDs Henry Selick had made for MTV. When this is a separate video, it will be listed in the description below. For this stream later, I will post it in that thread in the comments. I didn't remember to get the URL today. If someone wants to do that in the chat, feel free. But I will also post that thread on the Discord if you want to look at that. But while he was making that, he made this short film. And at first I was watching it and all this stuff. And after the YouTube link, which is the one I tweeted out, Henry Selick talks about how this was actually a pilot that he was working on and finished. And towards the end, when they were about to make more episodes of this for MTV, he got the call that Nightmare Before Christmas had been picked up, and then so he left this project and the series didn't go forward. Now I don't know, because this is a very weird stop motion show, if MTV wouldn't have gone forward, because it seems like the pilot was made and he was like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of here. If this would have been picked up for more, what the deal was, since it didn't progress any further from that. And I kind of think we don't know. Basically, it doesn't seem like at the time it was like 91. They were into liquid television stuff. Basically, what this is it opens with a conjoined twin little girl, blonde girl, walks up the stairs, looks through the keyhole. It opens a lot with these little girls, and then sees a live action Henry Selick, who is Bob, and then he is zapped by lizards. This is the plot, kids. Into this weird stop motion world where everyone's in a picture and moving, and then right, and then he comes back to the original place, also zapped by lizards, and those girls break through the door and attack him with paint and paint him yellow and this weird design thing. And also this girl who he saw in a picture in the dimension I guess he went to, I assume it's dimension, I don't know, but by the lizards, said something to him and then says another thing to him through his watch, and then it's over. I don't know what this fucking meant at all, but it looks really cool. I actually really recommend it, especially if you like Henry Selick. But it was interesting that MTV would at least like pay to make this. That was a very different MTV, the Animation Pro MTV, and I guess they liked the station IDs enough that, I mean, obviously he probably showed them storyboards and stuff, but it really shows you his abilities at the time, and like that he's mixing live action with stop motion, which we would later do with Monkey Bone and stuff like that, but that he's starring in this, he's doing all these weird things that didn't make any sense, but he's really pushing the visuals to it. I would say it's a little Kafka-esque, but more in the strange existentialism. I don't know if it had a point, to be honest with you. I just know I enjoyed watching Slow Bob in the lower dimensions, and I don't know why I keep saying it's another dimension. I just assume that because that's the title, but it is very interesting, and it's interesting that this is literally the thing he made right before he went to work on Nightmare Before Christmas. That is that makes this notable in my mind. Like, this was the last thing he worked on. This, finished this, then got the fuck out of MTV and made probably like the first stop motion animated studio film, and a real huge moment in animation history. So in my mind, this is notable for that. If you like Henry Selick, I highly recommend this. He definitely is melding a lot of different things. I would say this is flat out an experimental film for the most part, and he really pushes that experimentalism through it. It is highly fascinating, and I would say highly watchable. And if you're a fan of Henry Selick and watching Wendell and Wild this weekend, or it's Nightmare Before Christmas season from now until Christmas, so and you're watching that, this is the perfect thing to watch between. I don't think this is really for kids. I think it's a little too strange. You don't want to give them nightmares. But if you're a grown-up and you like nightmares, I guess, then you should totally watch this. And just a really fascinating little point in animation history. And I would like to review some of his other shorts at some point, but I think this is this definitely, I was like, I would love to see this on a big screen, because there's so many fascinating weird designs, and maybe it didn't mean anything, but it was a hell of a journey to go through and think about the possibilities and the talent of Henry Selick before he would direct probably one of the most celebrated animated films, particularly of this season. Okay. Oh, that's cool. That's interesting. Henry Selick's time capsule. He hasn't done a lot of short films, so I think there's only 3. So, hello, Daniel Vasquez. Daniel Vasquez, I did a whole thing on. I'm gonna see the John Waters movie at the Senator, and talked about Cecil B. Demented not being at the Senator, actually, despite me being at the premiere. Have you seen that, Daniel Vasquez? The video of that, by the way, of me at the Senator premiere of Cecil B. Demented. You should. I'm just speaking to Daniel Vasquez now before I do questions. But yeah, I was talking about that, and I was hoping it would play at the Senator, not the Charles. But I guess they're owned by the same people now. Anyway, I know we haven't talked about those theaters, but you're talking about Maryland Theater. You said, do you remember Pairing Plaza Twin before Towson Commons 8 replaced it, and York Road Twin nearby Towson Commons Mall? If so, what were they like? Pairing Plaza, I don't know. York Road Twin, I think, was lower, near where my grocery store was. which then got torn down, and there's like a GameStop there. I think I have that right. And I saw Little Mermaid there, I believe. And I remember liking it. I may have seen something there. I know I saw Star Trek 4 at a theater, and I don't remember. I've always wondered. I think it might be the York Road Twin, and I'm not sure. And I don't have those ticket stubs, so I don't know. Oh, hey, sexy find info. I'd love to see you. Oh. Let's put you in timeout. All right. We're all eavesdropping. Sorry. Anyway, thank you. Thank you, Daniel Vasquez. Cheers to you. Bot has entered the chat. I get a lot of weird bots. I also get that like weird crypto email about like it's supposed to be a YouTube like oh, can you get a link of the video mentioned? I'm sort of doing a stream right now, bro. But for you, because Demented Jim Gisriel. Don't. Okay. Hold on. I will do it. I filmed this. This is from 2000. I did get your Patreon question, and we're about to do those. I'm sorry. We have a lot of time, so I can go off and do. That is the South Media Dimension premiere. That is from my film Star Stalking, which you can sort of see a cut of. That's another Patreon thingy there. I should probably get some water. I'm feeling a little coffee, but let's hope that the rock drink helps me. I feel, damn, Jim really is the goat homie. What does that mean? I don't know. How am I the goat? Thank you for that. Yeah, I need to get some water. One second. Hold on. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Anyway, all right, let's get to the questions. Sinram is first. Well, I know what goat means, but I was just curious why you put why for that reason. Anyway, sorry. Nathaniel Fogus first. Sorry, Nathaniel Fogus said, "What do you consider the rarest collectible movie you own?" I was just talking about. I actually have a DVD that I ripped from a VHS of Steven Soderbergh's Kafka. I was just talking about that tonight, and that one's pretty rare. I also have Something Wild, not the Jonathan Demme film, a 60s film, which is pretty rare. I have a couple of rare things on DVD, which I should probably transfer at some... Thank you, Austin. At some point. But... Oh, Super Kirby Dude, I liked your Film Rod video fan art. That was really cool. I should have probably saved it and shared it on here. I apologize. This was sort of a fly-by-seat of your pants thing. Maybe I will do that next time. But thank you for being here, Super Kirby Dude. Anyway, I have that. I also have a copy of a film print of Desperate Living in a closet. I think those are the rarest. I don't think I have anything other than I guess the Pizza Party things. I have a complete set, so I guess that's one too. I guess that's it, right? Right? I can't think of... I guess I have, knock for stuff, but that's... I don't think that counts, so... Every time you drink it and you look at the rock, it's like... makes me feel... like, good in my choice. Like, I'm like, oh, this is a good drink, and the rock's like, yes, it is. Can you smell what I am cooking? Anyway. Okay, hold on. I guess Zane Powers is the first question. Hello, Zane Powers. Okay, Sinram asks, Jim, who's your favorite animated character, and And oh wait, sorry, because Austin asked that. You already answered that one. Actual question: movie trailers used to have plenty of narration, but that trend has slacked off considerably since the initial preview for Batman '89. Now, hardly any trailers have narration unless it's from one of the characters. Do you have a preference? Also, what are other changing trends in movie trailers that you've noticed? They didn't used to have as many. Now it's like a lot of pop songs. The slowed down pop song thing seems to gone away, and now it's just like pop songs in general. I like it when a trailer has a little more fun. I wouldn't mind narration again. I think narration should probably come back at some point. I'm sort of with you on that. I think after Suicide Squad and stuff like that, they tried to do a little more edited, highly tight trailers. No trailers like they used to with Terminator 2 and other ones. They used to make a thing that was just like shoot a scene just for a trailer. And now it's like the Marvel ones like do that, but they do it so like they throw you off and stuff like that. So that is different. Stuff like that, but I do miss the narration. I'm with you on that. I am with you on that. Austin says, question, Jim. Sorry, I'm too tired from work to do the usual bit. It was a great show. I wanted to ask for your sage wisdom. I have no idea what movies to do for a watch along, so I'm giving the power to you to pick 4 movies. I will make a poll and try a theme based on the time of year or what's coming out. Okay, so I have to pick 4 movies. That have to be fun for a watch along. Oh man, I don't know. I should have read this one before because I could have like thought of something. I almost want to say Monster Squad, which I watched recently, would be a good one. But that's very much a family thing. I want to say that one. Maybe Ambulance. I'm just picking movies I watched while I had COVID. Ambulance, Michael Bay's Ambulance would be going on. I'm just thinking of those. How about this? Give me a few days and I will respond on the Discord with 4 movies. But let's just say those for now, but I might come up with 4 different ones. I want good. Barbarian would be good though, because I just watched that and I want to shoot a review of that soon. Barbarian would be good. Nice question, Austin. I will come up with 4. And I'll post it in general when I have it. In general in the Discord. Let's see. Zane Powers first. Hello, Zane Powers. What would you do? Zane Powers asks, what would you do if your kids told you they want to be just like David Zaslav and they're aware of who he is because all kids love David Zaslav? I would want them to aim higher, I think. So it sounds like he just sort of just like falls ass first into things. I don't think he's like a particularly great executive mind, to be honest. Cornbread, opinion on Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared television show, how it translated from web series to full series. If you haven't seen it, thoughts on what you've seen of the web series, if at all. I really haven't seen anything. I know people are really into it. I don't really know. I'm not as good with web series as like I didn't know Odd Ones Out till recently. So I'm like not the right person to ask. I don't know it very well. I've seen clips and it seems fun, but I don't feel like I've seen enough of it that I can really honestly and earnestly give a good opinion on it. Nathaniel Fogel asks, have you ever been to Barcade? Because I went to one recently and it was pretty cool. Yes, I think I went to the first one in Williamsburg. I don't know if this is the first one. There was only one, and there's a couple in Manhattan and stuff. I've been to a couple of them. They are pretty cool. There used to be Knock 4 stickers in the bathroom, the ones in New York. I don't think those are still there, though. Question, what are your kids going to be for Halloween? Oscar is going to be Paddington, and so he's going to be Dorothy, and I hope to have an Instagram eventually. Hope so. We'll see. Not Plausible says, is New York worth visiting in November, or is it better to postpone until spring? New York is pretty good in the fall. I think the thing with November, the winds, particularly in Manhattan, can be a little harsh. So if it's closer to Thanksgiving and you're not into extreme cold Arctic winds, then I would say no, and then move it to spring. But if it's like earlier, you might get away with it, but you might still get caught with that. So if that sounds like something you would not like to do, then I would not recommend that, I guess. Super Kirby Dude, also, you can call me Scud if you want to, since I'm kind of dropping my old name. Okay, cool. I will call you Scud. I will hopefully remember that next time. Nathaniel Fogel, what is the best energy drink you've had on Movie Crap? I liked Red Bull. I might do this again. I like this. It might be this. Although it didn't seem like, not a ton of super chats for it, but it was fucking tasty. And I do feel pretty energized. Although I did have a coffee right before, so it might have been the combo. Most interesting serial killers for you, Zane Powers. It's usually like the really weird ones, to be honest with you. None of the, I don't know. My view on true crime is I like the ones where it's like they're actively trying to catch them, and it's not just about like some reporter or something like doing a thing. Like I don't really like to exploit people who are families who are in pain. I like if they're doing it, they're like trying to help catch a person. So all mine are like, anyway. Not plausible. Are you going to watch the Weird Al biopic? Fuck yeah, I am. And review it. Don't worry. I have reviewed UHF. I will review every Weird Al starring or about movie if I can. Cornbread. When will John Waters meet up with John Frears, John Earths, and John Ayers and fuse together to become the John Avatar? I think John Waters is too powerful and would overpower all of them. So I think that's why they don't do it. Austin, do you know who Joe Camel, and do you remember the ads with him in it? Also, check out the purple goop art. Where is that in Discord or something, or Twitter? I will check it out somewhere, wherever it is. Someone please let me know. I do remember Joe Camel, and I do remember thinking he was cool. I didn't smoke when I was 5 years old, but I do remember them. Crimson Tide Ransom or the last... Man, that's crazy. TuneJ723, favorite episode of Bear in the Big Blue House. I've never watched that show. I'm sorry. I was aged out at that point, and my kids haven't wanted to watch it yet. I have nothing against it or anything. I just never. Maybe that's shocking, but Zane Powers, are you afraid of there being razor blades in candy? No, because that doesn't really happen. Sorry, no, I'm not. Barbarian would be too gross. Yeah, that's true. Favorite short played before a movie, Nathaniel Foga. Let's see. That's a good question. There's like this Russian kind of jam animation thing, but I think I watched by itself. Duck Dodgers in the 21st and a half century. I got to see that right before I saw Star Wars, and that was pretty cool. Apparently, because George Lucas actually wanted that to play before, I think, in certain screenings. I believe. Anyway, let's just say that one. Zane Powers, yo, just thought of something hilarious. Dracula says, I want to suck your blood. What if he said, I want to... That's pretty funny. Scud says, what was one dad joke that made you cringe? I mean, my dad had a lot of those. Dad jokes are more innocent now, but yeah, my dad had a lot of... There's too many, and I shouldn't repeat any of them. Nathaniel Foga, what's a food you've wanted to try from a movie or TV show? You know what? I've never had shawarma, and I've wanted for a long time to get shawarma and watch the Avengers, and I've never done it. I said I was going to do it in 2012 when I got that Blu-ray. I still haven't done it. So maybe one day, maybe if my kids get into the Avengers, we'll do that. That'd be fun. Cornbread question, how would your perception of Henry Selick change if he opened up a kissing booth and stand called Henry Selick? You can pay him and he'll lick you. Would he be rude to your eyes? It would be ruined, but that's weird. That's oh my god, that's so weird. That's I would be more like confused than upset, I guess. Would you rather not live in America if you had the ability to leave? Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. It'd be scary, but yes. Question, I've been reading X-Men. What favorite issue of Claremont's run? Favorite cover art? Wow, that's a big one. I mean, the Dark Phoenix, the Days of Future Past, I think is like creative height, but I think there's a lot of stuff in the 80s, the Australian Outback I like, and the Jim Lee era, but kind of like also John Romita Jr. I don't know. I kind of like all of it, but I would say the classic part, Dark Phoenix, the Days of Future Past, is like unbeatable in my mind. Question: Have you seen the claymation Adult Swim short film released on Halloween 2020? Opal, if so, what's your thoughts? God, I think I might have, and I never reviewed it or something. I don't remember at this point. I'm sorry. Are you still going to vote for Kanye in 2024? St. Paris. Oh, no, I can't even joke about it. What am I fighting for? Not plausible. I have no clue. Okay. Oh, awesome. Also, follow-up question. I watched Chris Claremont's X-Men in a review of it. Wow, did Rob Liefeld come off as such a douche? And Jim Shooter had a huge nose. Yeah, Jim Shooter's nose is like a co-star in that. Zane Power's favorite moment of an NFT bro getting owned. I think like anytime he looks at how much they're worth, I guess probably. The Santa Fogo favorite Saturday morning block to watch growing up. I have better memories of Fox Kids than any of them, so I'm gonna go with Fox. Good night. Super Drive Minion. Shawarma is great in a lot. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Question: favorite instance of a director blaming the audience for their movie bombing rather than realizing the movie sucked. I don't know which one. Probably what's his name? The guy who boxed the Ain't It Cool News people. He seemed to be unaware of that. Zane Powers, did you ever have a phase where you were afraid people would steal your ideas? No, I've never had that. To be honest with you. I mean, it happens, but it's like, I don't know. Is it terror time again? I guess so. I'm not sure what that's a reference to. Cornbread, we have a Star Wars Xmas special. Why don't we have a Star Wars Halloween special starring the alien named after a horror character, the creature from Dagobah Swamp? Expect someone else. Okay. That's a good point, actually. Also, like, Disney Plus is not good with the horror. It's like a lot of family horror stuff, so I actually think you can make a case for it. All right, I think that is it. Since we started early, we will end early. Sorry, this was kind of a weird vibe, maybe, but thank you all for being here. Okay, maybe I don't know. One day I'll do shawarma. Thank you for being here. I'd like to thank The Rock for also being here. I think this was a cool show. Sorry if what's an okay, wait. I see another question here. Zane Power says, what's an impractical thing young people say parents, teachers should do when raising kids? Like, we should teach kids how the founding fathers actually sucked. I forget. Okay, I'm glad everyone had a good time. I'm confused by that. I can't think of that. I'm tired, I think. Anyway, thank you all for your support. Thanks for watching it. I'm gonna hopefully a film rod video out soon. I hope you like the little scenery short thing I'm doing. I might do other short stuff, but I'm proud of that one, honestly. I'm not sure if the next stream will be like the weekend before Thanksgiving or next weekend. I want to like sort of rest up and feel better and stuff like that. But so I'm not sure. But let's just get the cartoon out. Let's see where we're at. So I would say definitely the 17th, but we'll see. I might try next weekend. I might try. But I want to say thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being as supportive as you are. Sorry, it has been COVID is a motherfucker. If you didn't know. But yeah, follow me on all those things. Join the Discord. Thank you for all the super chats. I like the pumpkin emojis. Thank you to The Rock. And I will see you all. Where are we? I will see you all next time. And have a good night. Thank you for being here. And subscribe, I guess, if you would like to. Alright. Bye, everybody. See you next time.